So then, as promised, the response to the Aspergers video. Well, the comments, which I couldn't be asked to do it in writing because assignment work, as you can see up here on the monitor, and all things like Cisco packet tracer, which has come up on the wrong monitor. It should be on that monitor. There we go, that's better. Yeah, I actually only use dual screen monitor for work. I don't use it for leisure at all. But I have all my thingies here, and as I'll usually do, I go from bottom up because they first come first serve type thingy bob that I go by. And as usual, there's no preparation, no planning, no research. So any research that needs to be done will be done as and when and whenever. Stuff like that, basically. So, get comfortable. I don't think this will take as long, but it probably will take a while. Yeah, I've actually already got a video covering that. I got a new Husky Hunter. But it needs fixies. It's a restoration project. I like it though. Got some baking soda to clean off the battery acid. Here we go. Let's start with the first one from Delhi Headshot, something like that. Or as I call them, DLY Headshot. Remove the double D, just doesn't work. Like many of us with a nerdy disposition, I, like you, have it too, though not as badly. My empathy works well, but putting stuff into words just doesn't seem to work, doesn't work. Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm now wondering if there are any electronics experts who don't have Aspergers. That is a question I don't have an answer to, but you'll probably find there are, because there's always variations and mixes and amounts and whatnot. Next one's from Replay Retro. I like the icon, Urban Spam. Excellent video, Ibram. Hearing an explanation of Asperger's by someone who actually has Asperger's is far better than someone explaining it to who doesn't. And then, of course, the PLCC EEPROM, which those who got to the end will understand that reference. But yes, it is far better because, while you can get people who research the facts and that, there's certainly an intake they can't go into when they don't have it. And also, if I sound like crap, that's because I've got the dreaded cold virus. A virus. And antivirus is hard at work. I feel better than I did yesterday. Yesterday I felt like complete shit, but carried on with work because it had to be done. DSD movies. About the empathy thing. I think too much is made of it. Most people don't really care about that much when something... Oh God, I'm not even reading these right. When something bad happens to other people. They just pretend to... Yeah, there is definitely some truth to that. If everyone felt everyone else's pain, the world would come to a standstill. Probably true. A lot of people just find other people's pain funny. Or is that just... I don't know. I think Asperger's people just don't even think to pretend to care. Attempting to fit in isn't much of a concern. That is indeed true. I've never really been one to fit in. In fact, I've always been the one to do the exact opposite of what the trends are doing because I don't want to become a clone. And then they repeat, well, not repeat, but say again above. I have never been diagnosed, but I do feel like I share a majority of the traits. And what it is worth, there are people who are undiagnosed out there, so might be worth going for a diagnosis, see exactly what's going on. I score continuously high on those online Asperger tests. I'm quite socially phobic and spend the majority of my time alone, not lonely, and perhaps in the symptoms overlap and present such a way as to fool a simple Q&A test. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to get at, but I'll have to reread that, so just bear with me a moment. Understand that, alone, not lonely, and It's just the last sentence, and perhaps symptoms overlap and present in such a way to fall. Maybe. Oh yes, I get it. Fooling the Q&A test. Something needs to be reread to be understood. I have read all these before, but as usual in the usual tradition of me, I forget everything. And actually, on that subject, there is someone's video I promised a response to. I can't remember, it's a blonde-haired bloke. I can't remember, but it's something to do with stuff, and I need to relook that one up and remind myself, because it was something I was actually thinking over. And we've just done that one, so it's on to this one. 05 Rudy, who has a picture of some famous person from the 1800s would be my rough guess. Probably completely wrong, because I'm not that great at history. And their name is 05 Rudy. My uncle has Aspergers syndrome, and he is one of the most intelligent people I know. Yay! He also was one of the best programmers in the UK. When I was just a young wee lad, I'm adding this to that. When I was just a young wee lad. And now back to serious mode. I met one of his colleagues in the 80s. He told me that there were only 4 people in the UK with my uncle's skill set. Unfortunately, he only had a few relationships with the ladies, but I have watched many of your vids, and my first impression wasn't autism, but geekish. Geek in a good way. I don't think there is really a bad implication as far as I'm concerned that this to geek. I know you get people who try to put it in a bad light, but geek to me is just intellectually superior. That's what it basically means. My chest sounds really healthy, doesn't it? PLCCE prom, once again the reference. All spoken, sir, watched it all, and the wife as well. Cheers, Mark VG, and then he has lactobacillus prime something or other. And of course the good old icon of the cow, sort of doing the sort of sniffing the lens of the camera. Of Mark VG, who's recently opened a new account for God knows what reason. I wasn't keeping up on it. But yes, he also sent me a personal message, which was good, so yay! That was a good little read. And I'm glad my video has been of use to you. And of course, Daniel Cordell, I think it's Cordell. Yeah, that's how the wording's spelled, so that's how they shall be named. True, I am even scared to point a camera and talk of... God, my reading is terrible sometimes. True, I am too scared to even point a camera and talk on a video of the real system, or plug in a mic and talk whilst playing an emulation, because I have an autism retarded voice in my version of the trait of AS. Yes, I suffer with a voice, I absolutely know, but hey, such is life, you just carry on. And well, in the end, does it really matter? Nah. And then of course we've got good old MrBenway, or Steve Benway, but I call him MrBenway for whatever reason. Like I call Retro Gamer VX Mr. VX. In fact, quite often I add Mr. in front of, unless of course you're a Mrs. But there aren't as many sort of females into the whole computer thing, so not so many channels there. Oh yes, and we were to MrBenway. And yes, I am blatantly ripping off your thingy of answering comments in video. I'm not going to lie about that. It's just a good way to do it. And here's what he has to say. The main reason for not being completely open on the subject is probably an unexpected one. I'm too worried about what people online might think. but there are those around me in the real world who don't know about, and knowing them as I do would either not believe me and say I'm making it up, or just take advantage in a discussion and come up with crap like, what would you know, you have AS. Sad but true. Yes. I can see why, but people who can't accept it just aren't people who can't accept you for who you are really aren't worth it in life. They're just like, you know what? Fuck off, pretty much. And, well, little do the people who say you have AS, I think they're in fact, I know they're the retarded ones, because, well, if you've got AS, your intelligence is above average, pretty much. And they're the ones who don't know because they're normal. Yeah, you get people who like to discriminate. I just tell them to fuck off. Plain and simple. Daniel Cordell again. Respect for Steve for coming out this far. Yes, that has more than one implication to it. It was hard for me, and probably EPROM to admit to people online, I had AS to begin with. Just like you, as I felt so negative that people would hate me for not being normal, so I can understand why you don't want to say the actual name of it, that although I choose now, as I'm not so vain anymore after outing myself out. I've never really had a problem telling people. Just something that's always been there. I knew it ever since I was little. It's just like, yeah, this is what I got. But yeah, anyone with a lack of tolerance, I don't have tolerance for. A bit of a double negative if I've got the right terminology, if I actually have finally understood what double negatives are. And then MrBenway again. So much stuff I can relate to, and bits I laughed out loud. Cause, oh, why not because? Yeah, I'm a bit fussy when it comes to things being written out. I like them written out in English. They're so familiar to me. Very interesting and informative video. Thanks, MrBenway. PLCC EPROM. Once again, that mysterious reference. And then Rome 877. Do you have it EPROM 9? I wonder. Do I have Aspergers syndrome? That is a question, which the answer is, well, kind of... Well, I'm not really sure how to term it, so we'll move on. And we have Mr. VX, and for those of you who know, I described it earlier on, so if you haven't watched, on my analytics it has like average audience retention like 15 point something%. And that just leads me to think, well, there's a lot more people out there who have a far shorter attention span than myself. But at least I can make it to the end of the video. There are aspects... Oh yeah, did I mention this is Mr. VX? There are aspects of this I see in myself. I can empathise, so that's not an issue for me. But small talk, I hate it. I'm hopeless at it. I just don't care. I find I'm really disinterested in what people do, especially the ones that don't seem to live or have any interests in anything beyond football and bloody X Factor. Yes, I know the feeling. I don't really care for people who boot a bag of air about in silly little t-shirts and shorts and try and kick it between two sticks. And I don't really have a care about people who can't sing either. And of course, Depression, yes, I have that bad. I want to jump off sciences sometimes. Yeah, I've had depression from time to time. I don't know why they consider it such a big thing. You don't want it marked with you officially because it goes down against your jobs and whatnot, so don't get officially diagnosed with it. Fine comedies help me get through. I've always preferred to talk with people on a computer than in real life. As a kid, this goes on to later on, so remember that, as a kid, my VIC-20. In fact, actually, I'll go on to continue going up, because otherwise I'll just get lost. So, tribal masters. Now, Aspergers doesn't seem as badly glitched as mine. I'm just sort of imagining sort of like pixelation glitches and whatnot now. Watch out, because Anaxy and depression like to live alongside it. Yes, the whole thing of like wondering whether someone hates you. Yeah, I get that. Also, it's not all with... Oh, God's sake. Why can't I read today? Probably because I'm ill. And yet I can write up a fantastic report. Makes no sense, does it? Write up a report that gets me a 2-1. Can't fucking read sometimes. I blame primary school. What? Also, not all with it are brainy. Yeah, there are those who aren't so much, but that's more of a minority. I like to avoid talking to others for too long, as it even makes me anxious or tired. I know what you mean about everything. You pretty much have to emulate emotions. Not so much emulate emotions, but you certainly don't necessarily know how to express them sometimes. A good example is when Mr. VX sent me the +1. I didn't really know how to express my excitement and gratitude. Here we go, now we're back to Mr. VX, so we'll start off. As a kid, my VIX-20 raised me. Being extremely shy did not help. Yes, I'm not the shy type, I'm the sort of rambly chatterbox type who'll just ramble on to you about hours about something to do with this. Or this. And look, a blown open chip that you can see the dye. Pretty. And, I don't know if I've shown these off yet, PLCC EEPROMs, the most awesome EEPROMs in existence. Now mine. Finally, after all these years, I have some PLCC EEPROMs. Now then. Oh yeah, we're reading through Mr. VX's one, weren't you? Hey, don't worry about the line. I didn't find it till my early 30s. Still cross it now and again. I probably never will find this mysterious line. Now, you think it's funny, but then there are a section of people who are attracted sexually to objects. There was one lady that married a section of the Berlin Wall. Damn it, you edited that bit out. You got angry over lady rules, low. No, I didn't edit it out. It was more... either one of two things happened. I can't remember which now. Either the memory card on the camera ran out, or the battery ran out. And during the point of transferring data onto the computer, I kind of lose my train of thought on what I was going on about. No, you're not a romantic, are you? No, I'm not. Ladies like romance, at least the nice ones do. That's... why do they have to like something I can't comprehend or understand? Why can't they like something like this? Makes sense. Romance doesn't. It's just always lovey-dovey, swanning heart bullcrap. And the hearts don't even look like proper hearts. Because what is a heart? It's a pump for blood. There's nothing to do with bloody love. And that's, remember, I'll probably have to refer back down to this one in a bit. And from Tribal Masters again, also Hugsy from 9. At my new job, I don't have fixed break times anymore. Oh god, that doesn't sound good. I kept getting it all wrong, and they kept changing the times and I hated it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I carry fake Chaos Emeralds, LEDs, various Nokias, which is pretty cool, and Sonic the Hedgehog toys in my pocket. Yep. Variations upon what I like to carry around with me, involving vintage computers and electronic-y bits like this. And I need to top up my tea again. The Pac-Man maze is looking a bit blank. Is this even recording? I'll be pissed off if it isn't. Good, it is. And there's only 30-something seconds left, and I've got tied hair in a knot and I've got to rip out. Ow, that hurt. So we're there. Next one is there. Keep that in mind because I'll probably forget otherwise. So we'll just go up and make the ones I read disappear off the bottom. There we go. God damn it. Don't know why that's so entertaining. Right, time to transfer data and make myself another cup of tea. Right, is that still recording? Let's let it run out and make the tea. Oh yeah, sugar and whatnot. Slight angles change. That's because I was losing the top of my head to the thing and I can see it there. And here's a question. Is it possible to spoon a spoon? Leave your ideas down below. Now then, back to where we were before all that, and Pac-Man mug is nice and full of tea. Interestingly, we have a 5th ghost. Now, the reason he probably doesn't appear in the game is, well, because he's the blue edible version of the ghost. So he must have got sacked from the team very quickly for just being eaten all the time. Bit of fun backstory. 10,000, about the highest score I can get. Right, now we've got this. Go to this monitor again. No. Here we go. Xbox Modder 02. It's a shame YouTube doesn't allow you to have spaces in your usernames because it would make a lot of them a lot more readable. Doctors and social services thought I had Aspergers. I add the had in there. Asperger's syndrome, just because I am intelligent and presuming that most of my time, oh God's sake, presuming that oh hang on, this isn't actually my reading, this is just errors in the punctuation. Most of my time at home, and I'm not getting much of a social life. Thinking that, I enjoyed my own company, but they were wrong. Interesting. Yeah, you do get the theories that doctors and social workers come up with. They're not always correct. There we go, it's now Tribal Masters again. Wait, why am I attracted to a beautiful guy on YouTube who also has Asperger's? Maybe I need to find one in real life and talk about silly stuff. And then in Lee, I'm not sure what that means. Asperger's love. I'd only ever heard Asperger's from on the internet. I've never heard that term before. That's a new one for me. But yeah, because I'm awesome! I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. I think it's more of what my maths teacher will refer to as a rhetorical question. He got really pissed off when I answered them. It was funny. The good thing is, the trouble is I couldn't tell when he asked them, but anyway I answered all his questions anyway, at least when they weren't mathematical, and he got really pissed off when they were rhetorical questions. Oh, the fun. Not everything about maths was boring. Answering the maths teacher's rhetorical questions was fun. Especially when it's trying to prove a point. It's not very answer that! It's a rhetorical question! What's that? A question that isn't supposed to be answered! What's the point in that? At which point it'd probably be it wasn't too far off ripping his own hair out, which would have been absolutely hilarious, but I never drove him to that point, sadly. That would have been absolutely hilarious. Now, back to Mr. VX, and his last comment, to remind us, was something to do with ladies. That's perhaps where you're going wrong, what my lack of romantic Maybe, because it's a concept I am unable to understand. You come across as too desperate, though. Probably. Hang on, academics and autistic types conditions go together. I'd say a high percentage of our academics are autistic. He works at a university as a team. Not actually. Don't worry. To one degree or other, if anything goes wrong, when I help them, they are like little kids, clueless as what to do. I've always thought of paranormal activity as perhaps data left behind or universe touching etc. Pause. Oh yeah, because he paused the videos, and I think that's all from him from now on in, which is quite the case. And back to Tribal Masters. Pukes. What about pukes? I tell you what, I haven't been far off it a few times over the past few months. I think it's from my method of drinking out of these and then just refilling it. I should probably at least wash them out from time to time, because after a while they start to make me feel silly. Can I get to the point of heaving? Would not like to see inside the human body. Why not? It'd be fascinating. It'd be like cracking open something to hands. Oh god, there's nothing. I don't know, cracking open my laptop or one of the Huskies or something like that. Actually, talking of that, Richie up here's one of the Huskies. Yes, this is the one that currently needs restoring. There's the damage from the battery leaking. Not to mention a few little of the ribbon cable thing for the keyboard needs to be rebuilt. I've never rebuilt a ribbon cable for a keyboard. My towel's going to soak my bed there. Oh well, such is life. Robert797. I also have Aspergers. I have known I for over 8 years, and I am just learning to live with it. But I am totally agreeing with what you're saying. Excellent! Yes, it is just one of those things. It probably helps that parents pretty much clocked on as soon as I was born and were able to start taking actions. But they wondered why I was trashing the house and whatnot, and not communicating, didn't talk till about when I was about 4. Robert797 again. Mine anger I have under control. Yes, anger is a difficult thing to control, but actually it turns out it's rather common for people with autism to have really bad anger problems. But the problem is, I lost all my emotions through. Well, you can't really lose your emotions, but you can suppress them. It is possible to do that. And hell, there's even some emotions I can downright switch off. And you know what I hate about what I have? When you have something new, you have to show it off. And you cannot let it rest until someone sees it. Yes, I have done that from time to time. You get something new, especially to my brother. It's like, look at this new Husky Hunter I got, Rich, look! Ramble on to him about several thousand hours while he just gets bored out of his head. That's if after YouTube you can be like, yeah, I got a new Husky Hunter. Where did the circuit board go? Oh, here it is. I got a new Husky Hunter. Why I need a new Husky Hunter? Fuck knows. Do I need a new Husky Hunter? Probably not. But I got one anyway. Maybe I can create a Husky Hunter restoration and sales service or something, I don't know. But yeah, I know that one. And Travel Masters, PLCC EPROM, once again that mysterious reference. And then, no, I thought I was the only one that would see me as machine. Yeah, it's pretty much what I associate everything with because it's something I understand. And Robert797 again. PLCC EPROM, nice work, except they accidentally hit the I instead of L, but we know what they mean. Well, I do, that's the main thing. Eagle Shredder. Is this the one where I'm going to have to do research? Because there is one of those on here. I just did the test that has the WebQuest thing and scored 34, which says autism light. I think I tried a similar test. It's like I got some number and I can't remember what it was or what it actually meant. I answered all the questions with total honesty and did not try to sway the results in any way. No point doing the test if you're going to do that. And for once, online accuracy actually surprised me. I did not expect to be classed Aspergers at all. Sometimes tests do surprise you. Like when I got my C in maths. Well, actually it wasn't that surprising because I bloody worked for it. But when I got my D in maths, because I was really thinking it's going to be an E, and it's like, you had it like, you can only get a max of a D in this, and it's like, you will, and it's like, very few people get a D in foundation. It's like, proved them wrong. Got a D, didn't I, so I could retake it and get a C. Haha. That was a proud moment. Very proud. I class myself above average intelligence. I would also class myself above average intelligence. Although the socially adept around me in life would hold the view that I'm simple-minded or weak. Yeah, that sounds about right for the sort of normal folk out there. But but basically they're saying this is untrue, and that it is. Because just because you're socially clueless doesn't mean you can't reverse engineer a chip, or build a little robot out of scrap, or figure out some chemistry pattern, or sit there and or sit there and work out how to subnet a network using only pen, paper and a calculator. Make a few mistakes, hit a few revelations, you get there. I'm not the fastest thinker in the world, but I always get there in the end. And then Ego Shredder again. When I first saw the title of your video, I instantly wondered if you know about the ongoing battle over the Gary McKinnon case and have any thoughts or opinions on it. Go wiki his name. I should have done this previous to the video, but I did not. So, in typical Minds fashion, thinking time! Right, the camera card ran out at a convenient time there, and allows me to throw in some sort of animation and whatever stuff. But yeah, basically, as expected, that's the autistic person who basically hacked into the Pentagon and whatnot. And typical Yankee policy is to be complete dicks about everything and want him extradited, but thankfully so far he has not been. I mean, yes, while what he did was wrong, there is certainly some genuine reasons behind what he did, and due to his circumstances, actually, if they're going to proceed ahead with legal proceedings, he should be tried by UK law and UK proceedings and never have to set foot in the US, because US is just all corporations run. They go, human rights, fuck that, we need our money. Well, it's not even their money, it's just money they steal by a lot of those corporations out there. It's like the prison system wants to see more people in prison. They imprison more people than any other country in the world. But yeah, if he's going to be tried, he should be tried in this country. There have been whole loads. Back in the early 2000s to late 90s all this happened. I didn't realise it was that far back. Whoa, long time ago. I was just a kid back then. Looking for aliens. It'd be quite interesting to know what he's found. I liked his message on the board though. Your security is crap. And that's the point. Pentagon, go fix your security. If someone can hack into it, it's obviously not adequate. Especially when they actually go to you and say your security is crap. AKA implying that this was a piece of piss to get in here. Because preventative measures are far more effective. But yeah, he should not be sent over. He should be tried in a UK court under UK law. Ah, really not good. Right, Rhythm Mike, as I call him, or Rider Mike, or whatever, whatnot. Sexual rituals? No, that's the other one above. Never heard of that. Compare the courtship traditions of 40 years ago in 2012. Compare the court. I think this is meant to be censorship traditions of 40 years ago in 2012. You'd be considered extremely odd to agree separate rooms when holidaying with a partner. Both systems from both periods can't both be right. One be the right one, indeed. Two different biologically similar proportions, two different sets of censorship rituals. That's before you start looking at what's considered reasonable in India, Japan and Africa. Yes, there's all sorts of weird ass laws when it comes to sexuality and whatnot out there. Traditions are kept alive by dogma, vested interest rather than common sense. Yeah, I would rather everything go down the common sense and logic approach. Because they make sense, to be frankly honest. This whole rituals and whatnot make things confusing. And then of course, as he says again, as for sexual rituals, I think that your disorder is making you see things very clearly. Is it? Never noticed that. Making it even more confusing, yeah, because I realised the lack of logic there is to it in the first place, so yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. There is usually considerable gap between reported behaviour and actual experiences. It's a bit like religion. Every culture has its own customs and myths regarding sex and relationships, and people living within the system consider it to be the only decent way of looking at things, and then that looks like he continues on later on. But yeah, there are some... Oh, what the hell? There's a little insect crawling around on my desk. You go off onto the floor. Sorted. But yeah, that's completely made me lose train of thought, that bloody insect crawling around on the desk. There we go. Yeah, it probably is like religion. Completely irrational and, well... weird. Because yeah, it's like, it should be consensual and whatnot, but that's just things like logic. That's on a logic basis. I run on a logic basis. Ego Shredder, PLCC EEPROM. I'm not even. And I can't even read this very well. Retrotech or something. PLCC EEPROM. I must say this was an excellent video, very informative. Thank you. I can't even read that, that's not even a word. S-L-E-N-K-A-R. You know who you are. When I was at college, they changed the class for a few weeks and I never made it into class even once. Actually, my database teacher has this thing where he's changed the whole databases system, and it's very rare I'm actually in there on time. I normally have to rely on someone else to actually tell me what the hell is going on. Radio Day, PLCC EEPROM. Rhythm Mike going on with the continues, PLCC EEPROM. I prefer to comment as I go along. Yes, I do that. Particularly because I tend to forget my remarks, I also do that. By the time I'm at the end. That said, there aren't enough hours in a day to watch every interesting looking video on YouTube. That also is correct and applicable. Because you also need to get other stuff done in the day, and look, I wonder what that looks like. Right, yeah. I get easily distracted, and yet I have extreme focus where I've been working on the work for 2 days straight. Weird. I have terrible focus, and then there's just things I can just focus on for hours on end. And of course, Daniel Cordell again. Whoever thumbs down an AS video making them anti-AS should be shot for not being racist, but the other version of it, discriminative, is what you want for. Is what you're looking for, if you want a generic term. And I can't think of currently which is towards a moderate disabilities. Yes, you'll probably just find that's one of the average sort of dislikers that seems to go around exclusively disliking every one of my videos, but never actually coming forward to say who they are, so their impact is kind of just ignored. It's like, okay, the disliker has completely missed that batch of videos, which is kind of funny because it means they're shit at doing their job. Well, hit a whole load. They seem to work in batches. I think they get dislike a whole load, get bored, dislike another whole load, and whatnot. And of course, next one from Daniel Cordell. Dell, the manufacturer of my monitor. Perhaps him and Dell have something in common. Nah, that's a terrible pun. Ah, yes, I can be renowned for terrible puns, can't I? Bloody hell, having AS is hard to cope with. Sometimes like this in weeks. I don't really see it as living with AS, I just see it as just living. Occasion that I felt so damn depressed ever since falling out with MR Gamer 1, and called him a fake Asper as he acts in all my posts like he hates people with AS, although he claims to have it himself. I don't know what's going on there, but I haven't really had any falling outs with people on YouTube, and I don't really plan to, but that's not the sort of thing you plan to. And himself, and that had to take a break from Retro Asylum. I hardly ever need to have to do that, just get over my negative two-sided mood swing feelings for him, which I decided to let rest and just have a rest away instead. Indeed, it is a bit of a bastard when you fall out with people, but it happens. Bloody hell, this was a week ago, that comment. And of course, the last, very, very last comment that we can hopefully get on this bit of transmission. I really enjoyed this. In fact, I've had a really busy day. I had to pause it intermittently between the 12 hours after originally starting the video. I finally finished watching it. Yeah, I know the feeling. I've done that before, especially on EUV blogs, like ridiculously long reviews of stuff, which are hours long. I'm not knowingly aware of anyone outside of YouTube with Asperger's syndrome, but it was fascinating hearing your thoughts on the matter. And I'll move on to the next video with more knowledge now that I have before starting watching this, which could only be a good thing. Before I forget, PLCC EEPROM. Indeed, it is PLCC EEPROM. These little bastards. I have 5 of them. Here's the other 4. But yeah, I will do more Asperger's videos as and when I can think of stuff to discuss and whatnot, and hence I've created a playlist. And guess which one's the representative signal video? The one with me half naked. But will I change it? Nah.